Hey, this is the Open Source channel. If you're unfamiliar with Open Source is a platform to find your next open source contribution. But on that note, so this is the video of me contributing to the GitHub CLI. It's a Go powered project, sort of built on the Cobra framework. All those words, I'm not sure if they all are familiar, but if you want to see me contribute to Go, this is the video for you. So this entire video is actually a conversation I had while live streaming on Twitch. If you're interested in seeing this live, I stream every Tuesday and Fridays. Specifically Friday is when I do open source contributions. So check out my Twitch channel, descriptions below. And without further ado, watch me do my first contribution to the GitHub CLI. Oh, so yeah, I wanted to actually do a contribution to an open source project. And this project I've actually been putting eyes on. Yeah, so this is open source. Actually, let me start here, and I'll just pop through. So open source is it's the, like, most of you probably already know this, but open source is a project to manage your next open source contribution. And I really wanted to give a contribution to this project that I'm going to show you in a sec, but I figured I'd walk through sort of like the showcase what open source is. There are other videos on my YouTube channel that, actually I do have a video on my YouTube channel that sort of walks through what open source is and what the point is. With that being said, open source, I'm able to save repos, which is what I've done. So I saved the CLI repo here. And I encourage y'all to try it out as well, and let me know if there's some missing features and things that you would like to see. We are actually kind of cranking down on the GitHub issues. So we used to have like 40 and now we're down to 25, which means either the thing is perfect or it's less people are using it. So I'm trying to figure out ways to engage people to use it more regularly. Yeah, so back to the CLI. So the one thing on the CLI, this is what I do. I used to do this all the time at the end of the streams. I've sort of gotten away from doing open source specific streams. But what I was doing is like we'd contribute to open source on stream, and then I would play the credits at the end. So these are all people who've contributed to the CLI specifically. Moosely. I just had muesli for breakfast, actually. But I had an idea for a feature. And this feature itself is here. Oop. So I made a note, and that's the whole thing about open source. You can make notes. So I wanted to basically, what's happening right now, if I do this for GH credits, what's going to happen is I'm going to get a bunch of bots. Yeah, so you can see Dependabot gets listed and the actions bot. So I want to add actually a filter for leaving bots out of the list. And that's pretty much the only contribution I want to make. I already know exactly where I'm going to make this change, because the beauty of open source is I can actually just write a note here and sort of track how I'm going to make the contribution. But what I was getting at is that this is the line that I need to change. So the CLI itself, the GitHub CLI, so that's what I was sort of looking at here. This is one feature of it, but if I want to do GH help, you can see I can create issues. I can do a clone of a repo. I can check out branches as well. And there's a couple other things you can do, but yeah, here are the core commands: issues, repo, and PR. And this is not to replace the Git CLI. The Git CLI being, if you want to just look at, where you are in the commit history or anything like that, or Git log, like that still exists. The GitHub CLI is basically just interact with GitHub. So as a next little feature I got going on here in open source is I do have a fork. It's right here. Excellent. So I already actually created a fork. So I'm gonna clone this instead. So I'm gonna grab my fork. But if you didn't see what I just did, or what I was looking at in the upper, but I just wanted to point out the fact that I have this little button here. I forgot who contributed to this. It was one of the more confusing things about contributing to open source at me for first. I usually clone the upstream and then add my fork as a remote. Yeah, that's another little trick, but could be confusing. So a lot of times what I'll do here, oh, you know what? That's exactly what the CLI does for you. Yeah, so the CLI, if y'all didn't see that, when I did the GH clone, well, I think it was this one, CLI, because this was a fork, it actually did this automatically. So that's a pretty baller feature. So you can see the upstream is this, and the origin is this. I also sometimes will do this, where I'll just do, that makes it easier to pull in changes upstream. Yeah, no, no, that's actually legit, and that's a really good advice too as well, because if you want to basically keep your version up to date, sorry, you'll pull from upstream, because what's going to happen is my fork, actually, we'll see this right now, upstream, trunk, and you'll see all these changes I don't have. And then the next thing to do is git push origin, which I have as... All right, yeah, you can see this is gonna get confusing. Oh, my default is trunk too as well. Excellent. Honestly, I didn't even look at that. Trunk. All right, so I pushed my latest up to GitHub, and I did this because this was like pretty out of date. So now I'm actually even. The last time I forked this was actually a while ago, which I want to actually would be a great feature in OpenSauce to actually have like how stale your fork is, or when the last time you actually pulled, and because I want to do a sort of manual pull. Like if your fork's out of date, it would be cool to just click this button and then it updates it for you. I know exactly how to do this. I just haven't done it yet. I wish I could just like spend 12 hours. You know, maybe that'd be about my first like 12-hour stream, is this working on OpenSauce for 12 hours. I need to migrate all my extensions there before I start working out of there in the future. 134. So I think this is not... Why does this look different? Credits.go. Credits.go. I am in repo. Oh, you know what? They did everything different. So yeah, it's actually nested into a different... All right, so the structure of the repo changed a bit, which is why I saved it. I knew this is probably what was going to happen, because they're working pretty actively on this. So I saved it to a commit SHA, and that's how I linked it, and that's what I put in my notes here. So the way this is working is it's actually grabbing all logins from the repo as contributors, and the way that I can do this instead is filter out user type bot. And sorry if I need to like re-explain what I'm trying to do here. I could slow down and do this. But the way I did this here is, okay, yeah. So I have this API endpoint here, and if I look for bot, you can see all users that are type bot, they list here. So dependent bot, and then GitHub Actions bot. I don't want them listed in my credits. So I need to basically just filter that out. Now I don't know. This is basically the point where I just don't know what to do next, which I'll figure out now on the stream. So the next step is open an issue. So that is a great thing to do, which I never did. So personally, like when it comes to open source, so like we had a question around issue 612 is a good branch name. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're going back on the letting know. Okay, cool. So this is my approach to open source, which I'm happy to get feedback on this, but I don't start doing work until I let people know I'm doing the work, if that makes sense. So first thing I need to do is actually check to see if someone actually has asked this question about filtering bots. Credits without argument that should be current repository. Filtering by author. Ooh, interesting. Issue number of first source code. Yeah. So it looks like this guy actually already asked this back in February. Ooh, interesting. Currently have a filter for assignee. However, I'd also like to filter by author. Interesting, like this idea. So I think this is actually not specifically what I'm doing. This is their example is just filtering just for users. Saying current block by the GraphQL API. Interesting. Sorry, so we're gonna end up doing some reading and trying to figure out if our issue has already been solved, because like it looks like you can pass in like you could filter like issues, like list issues based on author, which funny enough, this was my my interview question at GitHub. I use the GitHub API to filter. I had to filter the get log, which I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we still do this because I interviewed 2 years ago. But I had to filter this. Basically, this is my interview question. If I go to get log, I need to take this log and digest it to filter just the names. And then by those names, I have to filter like the type of PR, or sorry, the type of contribution they made. It was like a fun little project. It was just a lot of, I did it twice. I did once in Ruby and once in JavaScript because I interviewed twice for 2 different roles. I did not get the first role. Get log, so let's grep author. Oh, you think so? I mean, is that it, huh? You should apply for GitHub. Let me see. Should I do Sam? Man, no wonder I didn't get the job. No, that's pretty good. Don't replace the name. Oh, I should just do author. Oh, I can get all author. Oh, it's actually even better. Are you really? This is literally what I did in Node.js and Ruby. No, that's not a real answer. No. Excellent. All right, so what was I getting at? The CLI. Oh, yeah. So I don't think it looks like this is kind of like they're actually need how to restore grep. They're actually grepping for the word backup. All right. So I don't think this is actually down the path that I'm looking to do. But I wonder if the CLI itself, what's the opposite of grep? If I grep, so, all right, let's try it out. Okay, so that is morning. Welcome. Filter an anti-pattern. So, so if I do grep -v, and now I have not quite. It looks like I have. Could I just do bot without the? Okay, so this is exactly what I want. Interesting. That makes total sense. Escape. Cool, yeah. So, and this would be good because if I had if my name was I like robot or something, I don't want to grep that actual valid name. I want to just grep the bot. Oh, just a hard space. Got it. So it's read that way. Oh, got it. Because I wasn't yeah, I didn't add a space. I basically just had empty brackets. It's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. So yeah, I appreciate it. You are, yeah, again, as I said, you are the MVP at this moment. All right, so this is where logins is being set as empty string. This is where logins get appended. Oh, c.login. Okay. So is this a contributor? So contributor is this is where I'm falling over right now. So it looks like the this loop right here, this is where the logins get printed. And I think I don't know what the TTY is, easy build. So I don't know if this is good, but how do you do comments in Go? So this is where you're gonna see, if you want to see me really be a newbie, this is today. Not only just the lack of knowing how to grep, but also the lack of knowing how to Go. And Go's been something I've learned probably once a year when I have to do something. But my thought is here, conditional to check if bot. And honestly, it shouldn't be here. It actually should be here. All right, so I think I have like the beginnings of what I want to do to make this work. As once I stop installing Go extensions, I think the conditional here will be basically, are you a bot? And then I think the approach is going to be check if you're a bot, and then if there are options. So here are the options here. So with the CLI itself, you can pass in options, which I don't know how it work yet. I don't know what static means. I don't know what that means, but it does have credit options. So basically this has an option for passing in. That's what it is. So it has an option to pass in the repo, as well as the repository. So this is what I've been doing with the, actually, here we go. When I pass in this open source thing, that's me passing in the option. If this is do a Fortran project next. Yeah, I don't know if I had that much time. Yeah, I don't know how I could I could justify that to you, spending that time in the work. But what I'm getting at is, I think this is what I'm going to do, and this is going to be another, basically me Reddit comment, option for bots. Botas. That's completely another word. I'm wearing Botas. People are working on a package manager for Fortran based on Rust. Really? Yeah, I think actually this is the way I'm going to go. I think the next step is actually opening an issue, because I don't want to contribute code if this is not the proper way. And I think some of the mistakes that open source contributors will make first off is that they'll give a PR with like no heads up. And I'm not going to do that with this, mainly because, yeah, I've done that before. It doesn't work out well. So what I'm going to do is basically take my comments and push them up to GitHub. And then I'm going to point to my comments in the issue and say, hey, I messed around with this. What I want to do is basically not have bots in my credits. And then if that's a way we can sort of move forward, like, would this be the proper place where I put my comments to actually move forward? And then what's going to happen is, like, either Mislov or somebody else who maintains the project is going to say, hey, don't do it this way, or that's a good way. Here's like how I would write it out. And they'd probably do it real quickly instead of me trying to figure out exactly the structure and what I'm doing. Or if this is wrong, they'll point me to another file. Oh, so the beauty of this, if you didn't see this, they actually set up some issue templates. So the fastest way to get yourself the annoying card in an open source repo is by skipping these and opening up a blank issue. Highly recommend choose one of these solutions, because more than likely either a bug report or a feature request is the way to go. Probably don't ask like how do I use this, or even like a, yeah, basically if it's Stack Overflow, like go to Stack Overflow. I'm just putting a little tongue-in-cheek joke in there. We'll see if that goes well. Yes. 5 minutes, bud.
1 week later.
I had an issue open, and what I'm gonna do is like basically restart from where I left off. I'm actually gonna take this content and probably make it into a YouTube video, because I think my approach into leveraging, making my contribution to open source. Oh, I didn't even see Mislov actually responded. Yeah, so it looks like, so last week we ended up chatting through, but there's a flag where you can actually look at the type of user. So this is actually data coming from the API. So these are all my contributors on OpenSauce. So I can actually find that the Dependabot type is bot, and I'm an actual user. So basically filter by type is the goal that I'm going for. And I honestly didn't even see Mislov's message. I did see the other message, which I struggle. I always forget Nate. Okay. I forget Nate's first name. I see his face, but I always forget. Yeah, so I basically was like, yeah, that's what I would do. So great news. Let's move forward with the bots flag and do a modification on line 64 as you suggested. Would you like to do a PR? If not, I can pick it up Monday. Oh man, I missed this. What would be nice is the use case is the bots flag. I don't see why someone would ever want to intentionally include bots in the output, since the outputs are meant to celebrate human contributors. Yes, Mislav, you're with me. Excellent. I love it open source. You get the feedback too as well. Yeah, big fan. And we should just filter out the bots by default and offer no way to include them. Ah, interesting. So don't do the bots flag. Excellent. It's gonna say cool. I am going to work on this today. All right, so we're gonna make this work. We got the response, and that was like the last week. I really did not want to. I did not want to start a contribution and do it, and then find out that we didn't want the bots flag. So I think the biggest thing to think about, especially like things like Hacktoberfest, where you're walking in the new projects with no relationships prior or not, is to make friends and like do things to like wave and say that you're here. And I appreciate everybody else is here giving the honest feedback. Yeah, so this is pretty much it. That's the fix. I don't think I'm gonna keep the code there, but I want to test it. Well, if you're interested in Go, the CLI team is got an entire Go project here. So what I need to do is actually figure out how to run this thing locally. And to be honest, this is actually something I did not even consider. Let's see, Windows. I should probably just go to the contributing. Okay, so there's actually no contributing file. Interesting. Is the tool using Cobra? I believe so. I can just look it up. Here, Cobra. Yep. But yes. Yeah, I think it might be like the go-to, no pun intended, for Go CLI packages. But yeah, definitely using Cobra. I'm actually intrigued at the fact that they don't have a contributing MD and everything is in a contributing page, which is fine. It's about the same. Oh, it's actually in the .github folder. Is that a new thing? Why is it in the .github folder? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, if you have any like missing features, so check existing issues and bug requests if it hasn't been submitted, which I did do that. You know, it's funny because I don't think I even looked at this last time. Features where we've discussed the approach and the issue. So this is actually pretty key. And I did this without even thinking about this, where I actually discussed the actual bug. Sorry, it's not even a bug. I discussed the feature itself in an issue, and I did that intentionally because that's what I do normally. I just wanted to give an opportunity for folks to like provide feedback if this was the right approach. So opening an issue is like definitely top of the list as a maintainer, something that like we love seeing. Open a pull request if a member CLI is given okay or discussion in the issue. Please avoid adding installation instructions specifically. Okay. And the build needs running a test suite needs 114, which I have no idea which one I have. So I have to figure out how to build this thing locally, so I can test it. That way I know what I'm doing. So it looks like we can just do this, and then we could run it using this. So what I like about Go is Go has a pretty nice organic way to build your packages locally and test them. Like with Node.js, there's like tools that do this. I've never actually had a great experience of doing this with Node packages. I've also haven't done it in a couple years, but yeah, I'm a big fan of running all the stuff locally. So wait, if I do echo Go, nope. How do I? All right, yeah, this is. It's been a while. All right, oop, vim bash profile. I do have my Go path set up, right? Oh, it's the first one. Yeah. So home.go. So instead of doing this, I would do go path. I'm gonna run the other command and see if the go build will put it in my bin for me. Because that was the assumption that would happen. Go build cannot find module command G. All right, so there's some missing information that I'm not knowing. I don't know. So building a binary, actually 113 is fine. For running the test suite, I need 114. I ran the build here. So the makefile. Okay, so sorry. It looks like I had an error at the end, and I actually missed that. So that is that works. And it looks like my assumption that I did already too as well is contributor has no field type or method type. So my assumption here with my change was that basically it didn't work. So my contributor that comes back here did not have a type that was, it didn't have the type field at all. Got it. Okay, so this is a struct. This is it. So type string. Now I don't know if type string, if that's going to do anything, but I want to say if the name is the same, it should be okay. So let me try this real quick. And I don't know how to print that thing, but we'll do this. Go back to my c.type and make sure that's user and run the build and see if this fails again. It didn't. All right, there we go. So now we can run and see if the type is indeed user and gets excluded. And to run the build, it should run. Okay, so yeah, so now I'm running the local version of the CLI. There we go. So whatever reason, it wouldn't take my second argument, but that's fine. So it works, and there are no bots. But also, I don't know if the CLI actually has bots. Oh, okay. So I can run. So they actually changed the command. So I have an older version of the CLI, so I should upgrade that first. But it looks like the new commands is not GH credits, it's GH repo credits, and that's why I was confused on why it wasn't working. So what I want is to do it this way. Yeah, so basically the API changed, and I haven't been around to update it. Still bots. All right, so this says a lot. So I just I used the local build and running credits, and now I can see that the bots are still being added. So I wonder if I can do, okay. Anyway, thanks for the drive-by copy and paste though. Yeah, so what I'm getting at is it looks like it worked. We now see no bots, and this is beautiful. I'm not sure what happened to the build and how this sort of worked, but yeah, it's a popular stream. We're getting quite a few follows, which I appreciate that today. And y'all, this is BW Live. Normally, I don't do Go on every stream. I've just been trying to leverage I built this project called OpenSauce, and OpenSauce is basically a way to manage my open source contributions and sort of find my next one. And what I did is I actually was tracking this project, which is the CLI. It's hosted, built by GitHub. And it's the interaction CLI tool built with Cobra to interact. But yeah, so we're updating it. We're updating our Go version because I have to run test. And the maintainers of the project for the CLI that I'm working on, they recommend 1.15 or 1.14. and I'm actually on 1.15. Oh, yeah. I didn't as mentioned here. Update your Go version first. You need to uninstall the original version and install the new version. Really? That's seriously what you have to do? Because I kind of just want to open up this PR and move on. But let's see if this if they have actions just to run simple tests. Because if the tests themselves don't fail, let's see. Okay, so it actually runs the test anyway, so I'm gonna basically back off and let the test run here. Yeah, I won't spend too much time on that. I do want to open up the PR itself because I saw that was a thing. And I want to double check too as well to make sure that all the changes that I made are changes I want to make. Yep. And I snuck in an extra space too as well. So I don't want to be that guy. Filter box credits. The way they don't have a PR template, so look at this first PR. Look at that. Be sure to read the contributing guidelines. I did. The other thing I had a thought on is I could actually use code spaces to run tests because that's going to have the latest version of Go. So I think I have too many code spaces open. If I do the Go version, I keep doing the dashes, but it should be Go version 1.15. There we go. There we go. No pun intended. So what I want to do is actually, because I have a code space here, I can actually check out my branch. Okay. Trying to think how I would do this. Oh, thanks for the follow. Black Udon too as well. Thanks for the conversation too. I appreciate it. Can I check out, what's the name of my branch? Yeah, so this, I'm just basically using code spaces as a workaround to installing. Oop. Excellent. I'm on this branch. Kind of concerned that I wrote out this entire PR and somehow lost it. Oh well, I'll have to rewrite that context. Yeah, so I think this is good. What's going to happen is that this is going to be, it's going to go in their queue of pull requests. I kind of want to see how long it takes people to review. So this is 2 hours, 2 days, 3 days, 8 days. Oh, wow. Well, you know what? I got access, so I'm going to be like, hey, y'all, I'm going to ping you up on Slack because we work on the same company. So we should take a look at this PR so I can check it. All right, but I look forward to checking back in and it's showing off that I got my PR merged. And how did you get the idea for this PR? Yeah, whatever you're interviewing for says yes, he rocks. My testimonial for when he showed the stream. Excellent, appreciate that. I got a fan base that I can help elevate myself. I need another promotion. Yeah, so what I usually do, and for past streams, what I've done is I do usually do some streams on OpenSauce, and the way sort of I kind of celebrate the fact that people contribute to this project is I run GH repo credits, which I found out the API changed. It used to be GH credits. Oop. But usually I run GH credits for OpenSauce, but I'll run it for CLI, and it has this like cool little animation that I can end my stream on and say thank you very much for all these contributors. You know, thanking y'all. I'd love to do the same thing for like subscribers to the channel and stuff like that. But this is where this is where it came from, because I run a lot of automation on my project, and it's kind of annoying to see bots being celebrated as the biggest contributors in the project, because we have so much more going on than just bots. So my ask was basically, can we filter out bots? Because like all these wonderful people should show up first. So if I go back into my issue, I opened up this issue last week on stream and said, hey, my top maintainers are this. You know, it'd be cool if I did GS credits and I could filter out the bots, or I can add the bots. And my guess was basically bots have rights. Mikhail, Welcome. Yeah, we just finished our first contribution into this project, the CLI project, and I ended up, yeah, I basically, my recommendation was actually not this. I wanted to add a new filter basically for bots, and the recommendation that came back from Tim was like, yeah, we should do that, but probably have like an ignore flag. And I was like, yeah, cool. But I also found out that on line 164, we could just do this little condition check to check for user. And it was because when you go into the actual API, you could see that bdougie is a user and dependabot is a bot. So if we filter out the bots by just looking for users, basically that's what I was getting at. So, and then I just checked, I missed Mislov actually saying this, but he's like, don't even, like, we don't want bots in there anyway. They don't matter. Bots don't matter. But so basically just write it without having the flag, just do the condition together, which is what I did. And that is my PR, which is pretty cool. So that was the sort of whole story of how I sort of walked into giving my first contribution to this project. I'm looking forward to doing more streams like this where I sort of think through an open source contribution and just do it through stream. My hope is I can do this on stream the entire time and like in only one session, but I had to break this into two. I planned on fixing this earlier, like Monday, but I just got so busy this week and I could not even, I couldn't even get to it because of, there's too much work. So because I set this time up every week for streaming, specifically open source contributions, I was able to get this done.